Esports has, for the last 5 to 10 years, been at the forefront of new content and giving fans deeper insight into the behind the scenes of teams, orgs, and leagues. But has it gone too far? Let's talk about it. When you sign with an esports org, chances are you're signing to do some form of content for them, as long as they're making content. And at the very least, you're signing to put their brand on your Twitch stream if you do stream on Twitch. And to a degree, that's okay, right? You stream on Twitch for C9, you get the C9 tag in your name. People know who you are because you're part of Cloud9. You get more viewers, you make more money. In return, you market Cloud9. More people buy their merch because they're fans of you and they want to support you and the org you're associated with. They make money, you make money, everyone's happy, right? Well, not exactly. Because while it's fine on the streaming side of things, over the past year or so, we've seen more of an issue rising in the content side of esports, and that is the commodification of esports athletes as assets to the brand. And now, if you have players in esports, it's understandable that you want to make content around them. You want to not only promote your brand, but you want to promote your players. You want fans to be invested and involved. And that's a good thing. And there are great ways to do that. If you look at, say, Sentinels, they do uncensored with behind the scenes voice comms, which are amazing. They do little small videos, talking each player talking about other players, talking about, some of the tweets they put out. It's small little things that are fun, that are interactive, that give you a little bit of, albeit a parasocial version of it, of insight on these players' personalities. And those players stream. So fans can connect. Fans can enjoy content from their favorite players, from their favorite brand. But the issue is not Sentinels. The issue is more akin to CLG. And now I have no vendetta against CLG. I want to make that very clear. CLG is not the only offenders of stuff like this. But last week, CLG put out a video where their manager was discussing to the players who looked very demoralized, saying, we're going to be making roster swaps. We haven't improved. Nothing's gotten better. We're making roster swaps. And whether or not you agree with what the manager said is besides the point, because this video was one released, which it was a private conversation. You should never have released that, especially so recently after like the week that just happened. Like if it was like 2 or 3 weeks out, I can understand, but it was very, very like recent. And also it had a sponsored title slapped on top of it. Now, when you get sponsored, you have deliverables. It's understandable that you have to put out videos that say the Bud Light so and so, or posts that support Bud Light with your brand. That makes sense. But when you take a very serious video where professional players' careers are being discussed, when they look incredibly somber and you put it out to the public and then you slap a branding partnership, it's basically just a giant fuck you in the face, not only to the scene and to the fans, but especially to the players. And the problem is when you have a deliverable, probably 3 to 6 people had to see and okay that video to go live on Twitter. Potentially six people saw this video, these people being anywhere from video editors to upper management, saw this video and said, yeah, this is great for our deliverable. This will be great for our branding, and this will be great for Bud Light to get a lot of interactions. It'll be fantastic. 6 people thought this was okay. And that's the problem. Because 6 people watched this video, 3 to 6 people watched this video and said, yeah, this is fine. They didn't take into account the players' feelings, how it would affect the players if this would release, how it would affect not only their org, but also how fans would react to the org and to the players if it was released. All these things come into play. When you release something as an organization and you show the insights to the players, some fans aren't going to like it. all the time. There are going to be fans that dislike some decisions you make, are going to dislike some things that some players do or say, are going to overread into things, and are going to send players hate messages, are going to call for players' removal. And that's why players struggle to be on social media, because there's so much hatred, there's so much stress and pressure and criticism out there. And then to have your own org release a video saying, yeah, we're potentially benching you guys. You guys have not been doing good enough. You guys have been overall pretty trash. So this might be the last time you all play together. And you all look so sad because you lost. It's a frustrating moment. And then they slap Bud Light so and so on the front title. I can't think of a bigger fuck you. If I was one of the players, I would have asked to not play. Now that's just me personally, but I would have been very, very offended that my org used me like that. Like, it's one thing if you want to make content of behind the scenes of, like, we're playing board games, team bonding, our voice comms, etc. But there's a whole nother level to it that you're using me to get impressions on a video that makes me look bad, on a video that makes all of us look bad, on a video that could hurt me, just so you can sell beer. I would have been livid. And CLG aren't the only offenders of this. There are other orgs that throughout the year have made these problems. In fact, this goes past just this year. I look at some older examples like in the Overwatch League, the LA Valiant when they took agilities to Five Guys, which is now a big meme, but at the time it was awkward and inappropriate and weird that they would even post something like that. This is a growing issue. There is a world where people are upset that they can't get transparency from their orgs. And while I agree that some orgs are really bad about being upfront about, assuading fans' fervor and their frustrations and saying, it's okay, this is why we did this is why we made that decision, some orgs suck at that. And it can be frustrating, I get it. But the answer is not to go the complete other way and slap a deliverable on top of your players' doom and gloom looking awful while their manager tells them that they probably are going to get benched this week because they suck, because they've been playing poorly, because the results didn't go in their favor. Is this what we want? Do we want to go down this road where players are not people anymore? They are players that are meant to win. If they don't win, you get benched. You don't perform, you get benched or traded. If you don't perform, or you get criticized. Even if you do perform and you don't win, you could get dropped. Look at, Team Liquid and Xmithy. There are tons of examples of that. Sneaky with Cloud9. You're not a person anymore, though, if we go down this road. You're a player that has to constantly worry about if their career is in jeopardy. You're a player that has to make content, is basically living in a reality TV show. There are cameras on you all the time. Behind the scenes footage, B-roll footage, interviews, etc. You are constantly on camera. How can you just live a normal life when at any point in time the footage from behind the scenes while you were on camera where there was a serious conversation or, an important discussion happening and your org just goes, yeah, let's release that as a beer ad. Because we don't care about how our players feel. We don't care about how our players are going to be affected by this. Is that what we want? To treat players as assets to a brand and not people and human beings with feelings and personality? It's not the right way to go. I want more transparency and honesty in League of Legends and in esports. But there's a line, and we have not only stepped over it multiple times, but we are getting dangerously close to permanently crossing it. We need to do better. We need to stand up for ourselves. We need to speak out because players cannot get exploited like this, should not get exploited like this. And if we don't speak out as fans, as the community, no one's going to stop them. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, listening. Hopefully, this brings up some serious questions for you and starts some important conversations. If you have, another opinion or you have a viewpoint you want to discuss, leave it down in the comments. I'd love to get your guys' takes on this because I think it's an important discussion to have. Otherwise, I would appreciate it if you left a like, subscribe, turned on the notification bell, and I will see you next week.